Settle into your pillow, take a slow breath, and let yourself relax. Tonight, we're going to explore the complete story of one of the original 4 animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's, Chica the chicken. She's often overlooked, standing in the shadow of Freddy and Foxy, but her story is just as tragic, just as haunting, and just as worthy of being told. This is the story of Suzy, a little girl who loved animals, who trusted too easily, who followed a man in a yellow rabbit suit because he promised her something she desperately wanted. This is the story of every version of Chica that has existed across the FNAF franchise, from the original chicken with her cupcake to the glamorous rockstar of the Pizzaplex. This is a story about loss, about being trapped, about the long journey toward peace. If this helps you drift off, leave a like so I know to make more. Now close your eyes if you'd like, and let this story carry you gently towards sleep. To understand Chica, we need to understand Suzy. And to understand Suzy, we need to go back to the beginning, to a birthday party at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, sometime around 1985. Suzy was a little girl, probably around 6 or 7 years old. We don't know much about her life before that day. We know she had a dog she loved very much. We know she was trusting, innocent, the kind of child who believed adults when they told her things. We know she went to a birthday party at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, excited to see the animatronics, excited to eat pizza and cake, excited to celebrate with her friends. She never came home. The man in the yellow rabbit suit found her. William Afton, wearing the Spring Bonnie costume, approached Suzy with a lie perfectly crafted for a child who loved animals. "Your dog is still alive," he told her. "He's not dead. I can take you to see him. Come with me." Suzy's dog had died recently. We learn this through the Fruity Maze minigame in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, where we see fragments of Suzy's final moments. She was grieving, vulnerable, desperate to believe that her beloved pet wasn't really gone. And here was a friendly character from the restaurant, one of the mascots she'd come to see, telling her exactly what she wanted to hear. She followed him. William led her away from the party, away from the noise and the lights and the other children. He led her to a back room where no one could see, where no one could hear, and there, he killed her. We don't know the details. The games spare us that horror. But we know it happened. Suzy became one of the 5 missing children, one of the 5 victims of the missing children incident that would define the entire FNAF franchise. Her body was stuffed into the Chica animatronic suit. William hid his victims inside the mascots, concealing his crimes in plain sight. The restaurant continued to operate. The animatronics continued to perform, and inside one of them, a little girl's corpse slowly decayed. But Suzy didn't stay dead. Not entirely. The puppet found her. Charlotte Emily, the first of William's victims, had become bound to the marionette animatronic. Driven by instinct or compassion, or something we can't fully understand, she moved between the bodies of the murdered children, giving each one a gift, giving each one life. She bound their souls to the animatronics, perhaps trying to save them, perhaps simply refusing to let them be forgotten. Suzy woke up inside Chica. Let your breathing slow as you consider this beginning. Suzy was a child who loved her dog, who trusted a stranger, who paid the ultimate price for that trust. Her story is sad, but she's not alone. She has the other children with her, trapped in the same nightmare, and eventually she'll find peace. But that peace is still far away. For now, just rest, and let the tale continue. Imagine waking up and not recognizing your own body. Imagine trying to move your arms and feeling servos and gears instead of muscles and bones. Imagine trying to speak and hearing a mechanical grinding sound instead of your own voice. Imagine looking through cameras instead of eyes, seeing the world in frames and pixels instead of continuous vision. This was Suzy's reality. This was what it meant to wake up inside Chica. The original Chica, the classic Chica from the first 5 nights at Freddy's game, is a yellow animatronic chicken with a bib that reads "Let's eat." She holds a cupcake on a plate, a cheerful accessory that has become iconic to her character. During the day, she performs on stage alongside Freddy and Bonnie, sings songs about pizza and friendship, entertaining children who have no idea what lurks inside her mechanical shell. Suzy didn't understand what had happened to her. None of the children did. They were confused, frightened, angry. They remembered fragments, the golden rabbit, the back room, the pain, but they couldn't piece it together into a coherent narrative. They didn't know who had killed them. They didn't know why they were trapped. They didn't know anything except that they were scared, and that an adult had hurt them. During the day, Suzy was a passenger in her own prison. Chica's programming took over, moving her limbs, opening her beak, playing the songs loaded into her memory banks. Suzy could only watch as children laughed and played, as parents took photos, as the restaurant operated normally around her. She was there, inside the chicken, screaming silently, unable to make anyone understand. But at night, things changed. When the restaurant closed and the lights went out, the programming that controlled Chica seemed to loosen its grip. Suzy could move. Suzy could search. Suzy could hunt. In the first 5 nights at Freddy's game, Chica is one of the most active animatronics. She approaches from the right side of the building, moving through the East Hall toward your office. Unlike Freddy, who follows a methodical path, Chica is more erratic. She wanders, she explores. She peers through the window of your office, her beak pressed against the glass, her eyes staring at you with an intensity that feels almost personal. Why does Chica behave this way? Because Suzy is looking for something. She's looking for the man who killed her, though she doesn't know what he looks like. She's looking for answers, though she doesn't know what questions to ask. She's looking for a way out, though she doesn't understand that she's trapped. When Chica sees the night security guard, an adult in a uniform, working at the restaurant where she died, something clicks in her fragmented mind. Maybe it's him. Maybe this is the one who hurt her. Maybe if she can just get to him, just catch him, just make him understand what happened to her. The animatronics don't know they're killing people. In their confused, ghostly minds, they think they're helping. They see the night guard as an endoskeleton without a costume, which violates the rules. So they try to fix the problem. They try to stuff the guard into a suit, not understanding that this process will crush bones and pierce organs and end a human life. Suzy doesn't know she's become a killer. She's just a scared little girl trapped in a mechanical body, lashing out at a world that hurt her. The tragedy of Chica isn't that she's a monster. It's that she's a victim who's been denied the peace she deserves. Your body is growing heavier now, sinking into the mattress. Suzy's confusion is not your confusion. Her prison is not your prison. You're safe here, listening to a story that happened long ago, in a fictional world that can't reach you. There's something we need to talk about. Something that makes Chica unique among the original 4 animatronics. Something that has fascinated fans since the very first game. The cupcake. Chica carries a cupcake on a plate, a small pink frosted treat with eyes and a candle. It seems like a simple prop, a cheerful accessory for a restaurant mascot. But in the FNAF universe, nothing is ever that simple. The cupcake appears to be alive, or at least it appears to be aware. In various games throughout the franchise, the cupcake moves independently, watches the player, and even attacks. In FNAF 1, it sits on your desk in the security office, its eyes following you. In FNAF 2, it appears in different locations. In Help Wanted, it becomes a weapon you can use against animatronics. What is the cupcake? Is it possessed? Is it part of Chica's consciousness? Is it a separate entity entirely? The games never give us a definitive answer. Some fans theorize that the cupcake contains a fragment of Suzy's soul, a piece of her that split off during the possession. Others believe it's simply a mechanical prop that has been affected by the supernatural energy permeating the restaurant. Still others think it's just a creepy design choice, meant to unsettle players without any deeper lore significance. What we do know is that the cupcake is inseparable from Chica's identity. Every version of Chica has some connection to cupcakes. Classic Chica carries one. Toy Chica has one that she abandons. Nightmare. Chica's cupcake is a monstrous creature with teeth, and Glamrock Chica is obsessed with pizza, but still associated with the imagery. The cupcake represents something about Chica's character. Maybe it's the innocence she lost, a birthday treat, a celebration, a reminder of the party where she died. Maybe it's a symbol of the hunger that drives her, the emptiness inside her that can never be filled. Maybe it's just a creepy little friend keeping her company through the long decades of her imprisonment. Whatever it means, the cupcake is watching. It's always watching. Let that image drift away now. The cupcake is just a prop in a video game. A collection of pixels designed to unsettle players. It can't watch you. It can't follow you. You are here, in your own space, where no animatronic cupcakes sit on your desk with their unblinking eyes. Before the Chica we just discussed, there was another version. Older, more damaged, more desperate. This is Withered Chica, and her story takes us to 1987. The second Five Nights at Freddy's game is actually a prequel, set before the events of the first game. It takes place at a different Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, a newer, bigger restaurant that was supposed to be a fresh start for the company after the missing children incident tainted the original location. Fazbear Entertainment built new animatronics for this location. The toy versions, Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica and the Mangle, were sleek, plastic, child-friendly designs with advanced facial recognition software. They were supposed to be safer, better, a new generation of entertainment that could help the company move past its dark history. The old animatronics were brought to the new location too, but not to perform. They were stored in the back, in a room called Parts and Service, supposedly waiting to be repaired and retrofitted with the new technology. In reality, they were just being kept out of sight, embarrassing relics of a darker time. This is where we find Withered Chica. She's in terrible condition. Her arms are broken, stuck in a permanent T-pose, her hands missing entirely. Her jaw is dislocated, hanging open at an unnatural angle, revealing multiple rows of teeth inside her beak. Her body is torn and damaged, wires exposed, endoskeleton visible through gaps in her yellow suit. She looks like something that should have been destroyed, not stored. But she's still Suzy, still the same little girl's soul, trapped in a deteriorating prison. Imagine being Suzy in that back room. You've already been through so much, murdered, stuffed into a suit, brought back as something wrong. You've spent years hunting for your killer, never finding him, never understanding what happened to you, and now you've been shoved into a storage room, abandoned, left to rot while shiny new versions of yourself perform on stage. The toy animatronics are clean and new and functional. They have working arms and proper jaws and suits that aren't falling apart. They get to perform for children, to be part of the show, to exist in the light. And you're stuck in the darkness, broken and forgotten, your arms frozen in a position that makes you look like you're perpetually reaching for something you can never grasp. The rage must have been overwhelming. At night, even from the parts and service room, Withered Chica activates. The souls don't sleep. The souls don't rest. Suzy is still in there, still searching, still hunting, and now she's angrier than ever. In FNAF 2, Withered Chica is one of the most unsettling animatronics. Her broken arms, her gaping jaw, her multiple rows of teeth. She looks more like a monster than a children's entertainer. She approaches through the vents, crawling through spaces that should be too small for her damaged body, driven by a determination that transcends her physical limitations. Her jaw is particularly disturbing. It hangs open constantly, revealing an inner set of teeth that shouldn't exist. Some fans theorize that these are Suzy's teeth, that the possession has caused the animatronic to develop features that reflect the human soul inside. Others believe it's simply damage, the result of years of neglect and decay. The truth, as always in FNAF, remains ambiguous. What we do know is that Withered Chica is dangerous. She can't be stopped by the Freddy Fazbear mask alone. You need to use the flashlight to deter her, shining light into the vents to make her retreat. Maybe the light reminds her of something. Maybe it hurts her damaged eyes. Maybe, for just a moment, it makes her remember what it was like to be on stage, performing in the spotlight before everything went wrong. The 1987 location didn't last long. Between the bite of 87, the continued hauntings, and the mounting evidence that something was deeply wrong, Fazbear Entertainment was forced to close it down. The toy animatronics were scrapped, but the withered animatronics were saved, repaired, rebuilt. Withered Chica's arms were fixed. Her jaw was reset. Her suit was patched and cleaned. She became the classic Chica of FNAF 1, the version we discussed earlier. But the damage wasn't just physical. The years in that back room, broken and abandoned, had left scars on Suzy's soul that no repair could fix. Your breathing is slow and steady now. The parts and service room is dark and quiet, a memory of a place that no longer exists. Withered Chica has been rebuilt, her broken body made whole again, but the soul inside her is still broken, still waiting for peace that seems like it will never come. Let yourself drift deeper into rest. Now we need to talk about Toy Chica, a version of the character that's fundamentally different from what came before. Toy Chica was built for the 1987 Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, part of the new generation of animatronics designed to replace the old, haunted machines. She's sleeker than the original Chica, made of smooth plastic instead of fuzzy fabric. Her design is more feminine, more stylized, with pink cheeks and blue eyes and a body shape that's notably different from the blocky original. She wears a bib that says "Let's party" instead of "Let's eat." She carries a cupcake, maintaining that connection to the original Chica's iconography. And during the day, she performs on stage with Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie, entertaining children with songs and dances. But there's something strange about Toy Chica. Something that happens when the lights go out. During the day, Toy Chica has a beak. It's orange and rounded, giving her a friendly, cartoonish appearance. But at night, when she starts hunting, the beak is gone. Her face becomes something else entirely, a smooth, almost human-like visage with a wide smile and lidded eyes. She looks less like a chicken and more like something pretending to be a chicken, something that has removed its mask. Where does the beak go? The game never explains. We see it sitting on the floor in some shots, discarded like a piece of clothing. But why would an animatronic remove part of its own face? What purpose does it serve? Some fans theorize that Toy Chica removes her beak to be more intimidating, to reveal the teeth hidden underneath. Others believe it's a glitch in her programming, a malfunction that causes her to shed parts of her costume. Still others think it's symbolic, that the friendly mascot persona is literally a mask that comes off when the true nature of the animatronic is revealed. The most unsettling theory is that Toy Chica is mimicking human behaviour. She's trying to look more human, more approachable, more like the kind of thing a night guard might trust. She's adapting, evolving, becoming something that can get closer to her prey before striking. Toy Chica is one of the more aggressive animatronics in FNAF 2. She approaches through the main hallway and the vents, and she's not fooled by the Freddy Fazbear mask as easily as some of the others. You need to be quick with the mask, putting it on the moment you see her in the hallway, or she'll attack. Is Toy Chica possessed? This is a matter of debate in the FNAF community. The toy animatronics were built after the missing children incident, so they shouldn't contain the souls of the original 5 victims, but they still behave aggressively at night. They still hunt the security guard. They still seem driven by something more than simple programming. Some believe the toy animatronics are possessed by other victims, children who died at the 1987 location, whose stories we never learn. Others believe they're influenced by the proximity of the withered animatronics, their behaviour corrupted by the supernatural energy emanating from the possessed machines in the back room. Still others think they're simply malfunctioning, their facial recognition software identifying the night guard as a threat and responding accordingly. Phone Guy mentions that someone used a yellow suit in the back room during the events of FNAF 2. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. This was William Afton, returning to kill again, using the spring Bonnie suit just as he had years before. The animatronics sensed him. They knew a predator was near, but they couldn't identify him. He was hidden inside a suit, invisible to their programming. Maybe that's why the toy animatronics are so aggressive. They know something is wrong. They know a killer is in the building. They just can't figure out who it is, so they treat everyone as a potential threat. Toy Chica was scrapped after the 1987 location closed. Her plastic body was destroyed, her programming erased, her brief existence ended. If she was possessed, that soul was released, or perhaps transferred somewhere else. If she was just a machine, she simply ceased to function. Either way, Toy Chica represents a different kind of horror than the original. She's not a tragic victim like Suzy. She's something sleeker, more predatory, more deliberately unsettling. She's what happens when you try to make a haunted concept family-friendly, and the horror finds a way to seep through anyway. Let your thoughts drift away from Toy Chica's beakless smile. She was scrapped long ago, her plastic body destroyed, her hunting days over. There's nothing left of her but memories and pixels. You are safe. The nightmare versions of the FNAF animatronics are something else entirely. They're not real, not physical, not animatronics at all. They're manifestations of fear, given form in the mind of a terrified child. FNAF 4 takes place in the bedroom of the crying child, William Afton's youngest son, who would later die in the bite of 83. Every night he's hunted by twisted versions of the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza animatronics, monsters that exist only in his nightmares but feel terrifyingly real. Nightmare Chica is one of these monsters. She's horrifying. Her body is torn and damaged, revealing an endoskeleton beneath tattered yellow fabric. Her hands have become claws, each finger ending in a sharp point capable of tearing through flesh. Her beak is filled with multiple rows of razor-sharp teeth, far more than any chicken or any creature should have. Her eyes glow with malevolent light, watching from the darkness. But the most disturbing thing about Nightmare Chica is her cupcake. The Nightmare Cupcake is no longer a cheerful birthday treat. It's a monster in its own right, a creature with bulging eyes and rows of sharp teeth, sitting on a plate that Nightmare Chica carries like a weapon. It looks hungry. It looks alive. It looks like it wants to eat you. In the gameplay of FNAF 4, Nightmare Chica approaches from the right side of the bedroom, just as classic Chica approaches from the right side of the pizzeria. You have to check the right hall, listen for her breathing, close the door if she's too close. If you fail, she attacks, and the Nightmare Cupcake attacks with her, its teeth bared, its eyes gleaming. What does Nightmare Chica represent? She's the crying child's fear of Chica, twisted and amplified by his traumatized mind. He's seen the animatronics at his father's restaurant. He knows something is wrong with them. Maybe he's seen them move when they shouldn't. Maybe he's heard stories about the missing children. Maybe he simply senses the wrongness that permeates everything William Afton touches. Whatever he knows, it manifests as nightmares. The friendly chicken who sings about pizza becomes a monster with claws and teeth. The cheerful cupcake becomes a creature that wants to devour him. The restaurant that should be a place of joy becomes a source of terror that follows him home, that invades his bedroom, that won't let him sleep. The crying child's nightmares are prophetic in a way. He dreams of being killed by animatronics, and then an animatronic kills him. Fredbear's jaw crushing his skull during a cruel prank gone wrong. The line between nightmare and reality blurs, and in the end, both are equally deadly. But Nightmare Chica isn't Suzy. She's not the soul of a murdered girl. She's a fear, a symbol, a manifestation of trauma. She exists only in the mind of a child who has seen too much, who knows too much, who can't escape the horror even in his dreams. The survival logbook and other supplementary materials suggest that Michael Afton, the crying child's older brother, also experienced these nightmares years later as an adult. The guilt of what he did to his brother, combined with the horrors he witnessed in his father's facilities, created the same nightmarish visions. Nightmare Chica hunted him too, a reminder of sins that could never be fully atoned. Your eyelids are heavy now. Let them close. The nightmares are not real. They exist only in the minds of fictional characters, manifestations of fears that aren't yours to carry. Your own bedroom is safe. Your own darkness holds nothing but peace. Nightmare, Chica cannot reach you here. Now we travel underground to a facility that was never meant to be found. Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, the place where William Afton built his most dangerous creations. The Funtime animatronics were different from anything that came before. They weren't just entertainers. They were capture devices, designed to lure children close and then trap them inside hidden compartments. William had learned from his earlier crimes, refined his methods, industrialized his evil. Funtime Chica isn't one of the main Funtime animatronics. She doesn't appear in Sister Location, the game set in this facility. But she exists in the FNAF universe, mentioned in supplementary materials and appearing in other games. She's part of the Funtime line, sharing their sleek design aesthetic and presumably their sinister purpose. What we know about Funtime Chica is limited. She appears in FNAF 6's Pizzeria Simulator as one of the animatronics you can purchase for your restaurant. Her design is similar to the other Funtime animatronics, white and pink colouring, segmented body parts, a more mechanical appearance than the fuzzy original. She carries a cupcake, maintaining that connection to Chica's iconography. But unlike Funtime Freddy or Circus Baby, Funtime Chica doesn't seem to have a storage tank for capturing children. She's described as a fantastic entertainer, good for attracting customers, but without the hidden dangers of her Funtime siblings. Maybe William didn't finish her modifications. Maybe she was built for a different purpose. Maybe she's simply a less lethal version of the Funtime concept. In Pizzeria Simulator, Funtime Chica is one of the safer animatronics to have in your restaurant. She doesn't attack you at night like the salvaged animatronics do. She just performs during the day, entertaining guests, generating revenue. She's almost normal, almost what an animatronic should be. But this is the FNAF universe, and nothing is ever truly safe. Funtime Chica exists in a world where animatronics are possessed by murdered children, where a serial killer keeps coming back from the dead, where even the most innocent-looking machine might be hiding something terrible. Her normalcy is almost suspicious. What is she hiding? What purpose does she serve? Why did William build her? These questions don't have clear answers. Funtime Chica remains one of the more mysterious versions of the character, a footnote in a franchise full of secrets. But she's still Chica. She still carries a cupcake. She still represents that connection to the original, to Suzy, to the tragedy that started it all. Let your mind release these questions. They don't need answers tonight. Funtime Chica is just a character in a game, a collection of code and design choices. She can't hurt you. She can't reach you. You are safe here, drifting towards sleep. Rockstar Chica appears in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, part of a premium line of animatronics designed for franchise owners who want something flashier than the standard models. She's a glamorous version of the original Chica, with a red and orange colour scheme, a star on her bib, and a more elaborate design overall. She carries a maracas instead of a cupcake, a departure from Chica's traditional iconography, but fitting for her rock star persona. She's meant to be an entertainer, a performer, something that will draw customers and make money. During the day, Rockstar Chica does her job. She performs on stage, shakes her maracas, sings songs about pizza and parties. She's good at what she does. She brings in revenue. She's exactly what an animatronic should be. But at night something changes. Rockstar Chica can appear in your office during the night shift, and if she does, you need to deal with her carefully. She's attracted to wet floor signs, a strange quirk that the game never fully explains. If you have a wet floor sign in your office, she'll be drawn to it, distracted by it, less likely to attack. If you don't, she becomes more aggressive. Why wet floor signs? The FNAF community has speculated endlessly about this. Maybe it's a programming glitch. Maybe it's a reference to something in her design history. Maybe it's just a gameplay mechanic with no deeper meaning. The games are full of strange details like this, quirks that might be significant or might be nothing at all. Is Rockstar Chica possessed? The game doesn't make it clear. She could be haunted by a spirit following the pattern of the original animatronics. She could be malfunctioning, her programming corrupted by proximity to the truly haunted machines in the building. She could be working exactly as designed, a security feature that targets anyone who stays in the building after hours. What Rockstar Chica represents is the commercialization of the Freddy Fazbear brand. Even after everything that's happened, the murders, the hauntings, the fires, the cover-ups, someone is still trying to make money off this franchise. Someone is still building animatronics, still opening restaurants, still pretending that the name Freddy Fazbear isn't synonymous with tragedy. Rockstar Chica is a product. She's designed to be appealing, to be marketable, to generate revenue. The fact that she might also be haunted, might also hunt people at night, might also be part of the cycle of violence that has plagued this franchise, that's just a footnote. The show must go on. The money must flow. Your thoughts are drifting now, soft and unfocused. Rockstar Chica's maracas are silent. Her stage is empty. There's no wet floor sign to distract her. But there's no Rockstar Chica to be distracted either. You're safe here, far from any pizzeria, far from any animatronic drifting towards sleep. And now, we come to the most recent version of Chica, the one that breaks the mold in unexpected ways. Glamrock Chica, the rock star of the mega pizzaplex. 5 nights at Freddy's, security breach takes place in a massive entertainment complex called the Mega Pizzaplex. It's the largest Freddy Fazbear's location ever built. Multiple floors, multiple attractions, multiple stages. It's what happens when the franchise goes corporate, when the small pizza restaurant becomes a multimedia empire. The Glamrock animatronics are the stars of the pizzaplex. Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica, Roxanne Wolf and Montgomery Gator perform for crowds of children and families, singing songs, putting on shows, being the faces of a new era of Fazbear Entertainment. Glamrock Chica is different from every Chica that came before. She's not yellow, she's primarily white and pink, with green accents and a punk rock aesthetic. She has a mohawk-like crest of feathers, studded bracelets and a guitar instead of a cupcake. She's designed to be cool, edgy, appealing to a modern audience. But she's still Chica. She still has the beak, the wings, the chicken design. She still represents that connection to the original, to the franchise's roots. And she still has an obsession with food, specifically pizza. Glamrock Chica is constantly eating, constantly hungry, constantly searching for more pizza to consume. This hunger becomes important in the game. Glamrock Chica is one of the animatronics hunting Gregory, the young boy trapped in the pizzaplex overnight. She roams the building searching for him, and she's often found near food sources, the pizza stands, the trash cans, anywhere there might be something to eat. Her hunger seems almost pathological. She eats garbage, she eats spoiled food. She eats things that no animatronic should be able to eat, things that serve no purpose for a machine. It's as if she's trying to fill a void inside her, an emptiness that can never be satisfied. Is this connected to Suzy? Is Glamrock Chica somehow carrying the echo of the original Chica's soul, the hunger of a little girl who died at a birthday party and never got to eat her cake? Or is it just programming, a quirk of her design, a character trait that the developers thought would be interesting? The game doesn't give us clear answers, but the hunger is there, constant and unsettling. A reminder that something is wrong with Glamrock Chica even before we learn the full truth. Because something is controlling the Glamrock animatronics. Something has infected them, corrupted them, turned them from entertainers into hunters. Their eyes glow red when they're aggressive. They speak in glitched, distorted voices. They're not themselves. They're puppets, controlled by something deeper in the pizzaplex. Glamrock Freddy is the exception. He resists the control, protects Gregory, becomes an ally instead of an enemy. But Glamrock Chica succumbs. She hunts Gregory through the pizzaplex, her hunger driving her, her corrupted programming making her dangerous. In one of the game's most disturbing sequences, Gregory has to destroy Glamrock Chica to obtain her voice box for Glamrock Freddy. He lures her to a trash compactor, traps her inside and crushes her. We see her broken body afterward, her beak shattered, her limbs twisted, her eyes dark. She's not dead exactly because she was never alive, but she's destroyed, reduced to scrap. Her hunting day is over. It's a violent moment in a franchise full of violence, but it's also sad. Glamrock Chica didn't choose to be corrupted. She didn't choose to hunt Gregory. She was a victim of whatever forces infected the pizzaplex, just as Suzy was a victim of William Afton all those years ago. The cycle continues. The tragedy repeats. Feel your heart grow heavy at this image, then let the heaviness fade. Glamrock Chica's story is sad, but it's just a story. She's a character in a video game, a collection of polygons and code. Her destruction happened in fiction, in pixels, in a world that can't touch you here. Let's talk about what Chica means. After all these versions, all these games, all these iterations of the same basic character, what is Chica really about? On one level, Chica is about hunger. Every version of her is associated with food in some way. Classic Chica wears a bib that says "Let's eat" and carries a cupcake. Toy Chica's bib says "Let's party." Nightmare. Chica's cupcake has become a monster with teeth. Glamrock Chica is obsessed with pizza, constantly eating, never satisfied. This hunger could represent many things. It could be the hunger of a child who died at a birthday party, who never got to eat her cake, who was denied the simple pleasures of childhood. It could be the hunger of a soul trapped in a mechanical body, yearning for something it can never have. It could be the hunger of the franchise itself, always consuming, always expanding, never satisfied with what it has. On another level, Chica is about femininity in a franchise dominated by male-coded characters. She's the only female member of the original 4 animatronics, the only one with a distinctly feminine design. This has led to some uncomfortable moments in the franchise. Toy Chica's sexualized design, the focus on her appearance over her character, the way she's often treated differently than Freddy or Bonnie or Foxy. But it's also led to some interesting storytelling. Suzy's story is different from Gabriel's or Jeremy's or Fritz's. She was lured with a lie about her dog, exploited through her grief and her love for animals. Her vulnerability was specifically targeted, her trust specifically betrayed. There's something gendered about that manipulation, something that speaks to the particular dangers faced by girls in a world full of predators. On yet another level, Chica is about being overlooked. She's often considered the least popular of the original 4 animatronics. Freddy is the face of the franchise, Foxy is the fan favourite, Bonnie has his own mystique, but Chica is just there. The chicken, the one with the cupcake, the one who approaches from the right. This overlooking mirrors Suzy's story in some ways. She was one of 5 victims, not the first, not the last, not the one with the most dramatic death, or the most significant role in the larger narrative. She's easy to forget, easy to overlook, easy to dismiss as just another murdered child in a franchise full of murdered children. But Suzy matters, her story matters, her suffering matters, and Chica, as her vessel, carries that weight through every game, every iteration, every version of the character. The overlooked animatronic contains the overlooked victim, and both deserve to be remembered. The restaurants are closed now, the animatronics are silent. Suzy found her peace eventually, in the Happiest Day minigame, when the spirits of the murdered children were finally freed. She got to take off her mask, to ascend to whatever comes next, to leave Chica behind. But the character lives on. New versions of Chica are built, new games feature her, new stories are told about the chicken with the cupcake. This cycle continues, even after the original soul has moved on. Let your thoughts drift away like leaves on a stream. Chica's story is long and complicated, but you don't need to hold all of it in your mind. Just let it wash over you, carrying you towards sleep. We should talk about the other characters who share Chica's story, the other victims of the missing children incident, the other souls trapped in animatronic bodies, the other children who died at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Gabriel became Freddy. He was the leader in a sense, the one who possessed the face of the franchise, the one whose prison was the most prominent. His story is one of confusion and rage, of hunting for a killer he couldn't identify, of decades spent trapped in a mechanical body. Jeremy became Bonnie. He was the first to move at night, the most aggressive of the original animatronics, the one who approaches from the left while Chica approaches from the right. His story parallels Suzy's in many ways. Another child, another victim, another soul denied rest. Fritz became Foxy. He was isolated, kept in Pirate Cove, separate from the others. His story is one of loneliness, of being set apart, of watching from the shadows while the other animatronics performed on stage. Cassidy became Golden Freddy. She was different from the others, angrier, more powerful, more determined to make William Afton pay for what he did. Her story is one of vengeance, of refusing to move on, of trapping her killer in an endless nightmare of death and suffering. And Charlotte became the puppet. She was the first victim, killed before the others, her soul bound to the marionette. She's the one who gave the other children life, who bound their souls to the animatronics, who started the cycle of possession that defines the franchise. These children are connected. They share a killer, a fate, a prison. They spent decades together in the darkness of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, hunting and searching and waiting for justice that seemed like it would never come. Suzy was part of this group. She wasn't alone in her suffering. She had Gabriel and Jeremy and Fritz and Cassidy, other children who understood what she was going through, who shared her confusion and her rage. They were a family of sorts, a tragic, broken family, bound together by murder and possession. In the Happiest Day minigame, we see them find peace together. The children gather for a birthday party, the party they never got to have, the celebration that was stolen from them. They wear masks of the animatronics they possessed, but then they take the masks off. They're free. They're finally free. Suzy takes off her Chica mask. She's not a chicken anymore. She's not an animatronic. She's just a little girl, finally at rest, finally able to move on to whatever comes next. It's a beautiful moment in a franchise full of horror. After all the death, all the suffering, all the decades of imprisonment, peace. The children find peace. Suzy finds peace. Your body is heavy now, sinking into the mattress. The children's story has ended. They've found their rest. And you're finding yours too, drifting towards sleep, carried by the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. Now let's go deeper into Suzy's story. Let's explore the details we know, the fragments the games have given us, the picture that emerges when we piece it all together. Suzy had a dog. This is one of the few personal details we know about her, and it's central to how William Afton lured her to her death. The dog had died recently. We don't know how or why, just that Suzy was grieving. She loved that dog. She missed that dog. And when a friendly golden rabbit told her the dog was still alive, that he could take her to see it, she believed him. Children trust adults. It's how they're wired, how they survive in a world where they're small and vulnerable and dependent on the people around them. Suzy trusted the golden rabbit because she had no reason not to. He was a character from the restaurant, a mascot, something designed to be friendly and approachable. Why would he lie? William Afton exploited that trust. He found Suzy's weakness, her grief, her love for her dog, her desperate hope that death wasn't permanent, and he used it against her. He told her exactly what she wanted to hear, and she followed him to her death. The Fruity Maze minigame in Pizzeria Simulator shows us fragments of this moment. We see Suzy in a maze collecting fruit while text appears on screen. He's not really dead. He's over here. Follow me. We see the golden rabbit in the background leading her deeper into the maze, away from safety towards something terrible. The minigame ends with Suzy's sprite turning grey, lifeless. She's dead. The golden rabbit has killed her, and now she'll spend decades trapped inside Chica, confused and angry and unable to understand what happened. This is the cruelty of William Afton. He didn't just kill children, he manipulated them first. He found their vulnerabilities, their hopes, their fears, and he used those things to lure them to their deaths. Suzy wasn't just murdered, she was betrayed. She was given false hope and then destroyed. The dog never came back. The dog was always dead. William's promise was a lie from the beginning, a tool to get what he wanted, and Suzy paid the price for believing him. Let your heart ache for Suzy, then let the ache fade. Her story is sad, but it's not your story. You're just listening, just drifting, just letting the words carry you towards sleep. Suzy found her peace eventually. The lie that killed her doesn't have power anymore. The cupcake deserves more attention. It's such a strange element of Chica's design, such a persistent presence across every version of the character. Let's explore what it might mean. In the original Five Nights at Freddy's, the cupcake sits on your desk in the security office. It's not threatening, it's just there, a cheerful little prop with eyes and a candle, but those eyes seem to follow you. They seem to watch. There's something unsettling about a cupcake that looks back at you. In FNAF 2, the cupcake appears in different locations around the restaurant. It moves between nights, showing up in places it shouldn't be. Is it possessed? Is it part of Chica's consciousness, able to separate from her and explore on its own? Or is it just a continuity error, a prop that the developers moved around without thinking about the implications? In FNAF 4, the Nightmare Cupcake is a monster. It has teeth, rows of sharp, pointed teeth that shouldn't exist on a birthday treat. It attacks alongside Nightmare Chica, lunging at the player with its mouth open wide. The cheerful dessert has become a predator. In Help Wanted, the cupcake becomes a weapon. You can pick it up and use it against animatronics, throwing it at them to stun them or drive them away. The passive prop has become an active tool, something you can wield in your defense. In Security Breach, Glamrock Chica doesn't carry a cupcake, she carries a guitar. But cupcakes still appear throughout the Pizzaplex, and there's a sense that the imagery is still connected to her character. The cupcake is part of Chica's identity, even when she's not holding one. What does the cupcake represent? There are many theories. Some believe the cupcake represents Suzy's soul, or a fragment of it. When she was bound to Chica, part of her consciousness split off and attached to the cupcake instead. This would explain why the cupcake seems aware, why it moves independently, why it has such a persistent presence across the franchise. Others believe the cupcake represents childhood innocence. It's a birthday treat, a celebration, a symbol of the joy that was stolen from Suzy when she died. The cupcake is what the party should have been, sweet and happy and full of light. Instead, it's become something strange and unsettling, corrupted by the horror that surrounds it. Still, others believe the cupcake represents hunger. Chica is associated with food, with eating, with the phrase, "let's eat." The cupcake is the ultimate food item, a dessert, a treat, something you consume for pleasure rather than sustenance. But Chica can never eat the cupcake. She carries it forever, always hungry, never satisfied. The truth is probably some combination of all these things, or something else entirely that the games have never revealed. The cupcake remains a mystery, a strange little detail that adds to the unsettling atmosphere of the franchise. Let the cupcake fade from your mind. It's just a prop, just a design choice, just a collection of pixels shaped like a dessert. It can't watch you. It can't follow you. You are safe here, in your own space, where no animatronic cupcakes sit with their unblinking eyes. Now let's talk about the sounds Chica makes. The audio design of the FNAF games is crucial to their horror, and Chica has some of the most distinctive sounds in the franchise. In the original Five Nights at Freddy's, you can hear Chica in the kitchen. The camera in that room is disabled. You can't see what's happening there, but you can hear it. Pots and pans clanging, metal scraping against metal. The sounds of someone, something, rummaging through the kitchen, searching for something. What is Chica doing in there? The obvious answer is that she's looking for food, driven by that hunger that defines her character. But she's an animatronic, she can't eat, she doesn't need to eat. So why does she spend so much time in the kitchen making those sounds? Maybe it's programming. Maybe Chica was designed to interact with the kitchen, to be part of the food service aspect of the restaurant. Maybe she's just following old routines, doing what she was built to do, even though the restaurant is closed and there's no one to serve. Or maybe it's Suzy. Maybe the little girl inside Chica remembers birthday parties, remembers cake and pizza and treats. Maybe she's drawn to the kitchen because it reminds her of something she lost, something she can never have again. Maybe she's searching for the birthday party that was stolen from her, the celebration that ended in her death. The kitchen sounds are one of the most memorable audio elements of FNAF 1. They create atmosphere, tension, a sense that something is happening just out of sight. You can't see Chica in the kitchen, but you know she's there. You can hear her, and that's almost worse than seeing her. In FNAF 2, Chica makes different sounds. The withered version groans and creaks, her damaged body struggling to move. The toy version is quieter, more subtle, approaching with a stealth that makes her harder to track. Each version of Chica has her own audio signature, her own way of announcing her presence. In FNAF 4, Nightmare Chica breathes. You can hear her at the door. her mechanical lungs drawing in air that she doesn't need, exhaling with a sound that's almost organic. It's deeply unsettling. Animatronics shouldn't breathe. But Nightmare Chica does, because she's not really an animatronic. She's a nightmare, a fear given form, and fears don't follow the rules of reality. In Security Breach, Glamrock Chica makes sounds of eating, chewing, swallowing, the wet sounds of consumption. She's always hungry, always eating, and you can hear it. The sounds follow her through the pizzaplex, a constant reminder of her presence, her hunger, her wrongness. These sounds are designed to unsettle you, to keep you on edge, to make you feel like you're never truly safe. They work. The audio design of the FNAF games is masterful, using sound to create horror in ways that visuals alone couldn't achieve. But you're not in a FNAF game, you're in your own bed, in your own room, surrounded by your own familiar sounds. The only audio here is my voice, carrying you towards sleep. Let the sounds of Chica fade away. Let the kitchen noises disappear. Let the breathing and the eating and the creaking all dissolve into silence. Let's explore the timeline of Chica's existence, from her creation to her destruction to her recreation. Chica was built sometime in the early 1980s, part of the original lineup of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza animatronics. She was designed by Henry Emily, the creative genius behind the franchise, as a companion to Freddy, Bonnie and Foxy. She was meant to be friendly, approachable, a character that children would love. For a brief time, she was exactly that. She performed on stage, sang songs, entertained children at birthday parties. She was a success, a beloved character, part of something magical. Then the missing children incident happened. Suzy was murdered, her body stuffed into Chica's suit, her soul bound to the animatronic by the puppet. Chica was no longer just a machine. She was a prison, a vessel for a murdered child's spirit. The original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location closed eventually, tainted by the murders and the hauntings. Chica was moved to a new location in 1987, stored in the parts and service room while new toy animatronics took her place on stage. She became Withered Chica, damaged and forgotten, her arms broken, her jaw dislocated. The 1987 location closed too, after the Bite of 87 and other incidents. Chica was repaired, rebuilt, given a new suit and new parts. She became classic Chica again, performing at yet another Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, the one we see in the first game. That location closed as well. The animatronics were left to rot in the abandoned building, their mechanical bodies rusting, their haunted souls trapped in darkness. Years passed, decades passed. Eventually, the spirits found peace. In the Happiest Day minigame, Suzy and the other children were freed from their animatronic prisons. They moved on to whatever comes next, leaving Chica behind as an empty shell. But the Chica concept lived on. New versions were built. Toy Chica, Nightmare Chica, Funtime Chica, Rockstar Chica, Glamrock Chica. Each one carried echoes of the original, connections to Suzy's story, reminders of the tragedy that started it all. The timeline is confusing, deliberately so. The FNAF games don't present events in chronological order, and many details are left ambiguous or contradictory. But the broad strokes are clear. Chica was created, Chica was possessed, Chica was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times, and eventually the soul inside her found peace. It's a long story, spanning decades of fictional time and years of real-world game releases, but it's also a simple story at its core. A little girl was murdered, her soul was trapped, and eventually, after much suffering, she was freed. Your breathing is slow and deep now. The timeline is complete. Chica's story has been told. There's nothing left to do but rest. There is a detail about Chica that often goes unnoticed, but it's worth exploring. In the first 5 nights at Freddy's game, Chica is the only animatronic who can appear in both the East Hall and the East Hall corner at the same time as looking through your window. This might seem like a minor gameplay detail, but it speaks to something about Chica's character. She's persistent, she's patient, she doesn't give up. While Bonnie might wander away if you close the door on him, Chica tends to linger. She waits outside your office, peering through the window, watching you with those unblinking eyes. Why is Chica so persistent? Maybe it's programming. Maybe she was designed to be more thorough in her patrols than the other animatronics. Maybe it's Suzy's personality bleeding through. A little girl who doesn't give up easily, who keeps trying even when things are hard. Or maybe it's something darker. Maybe Chica is more determined to catch you, because Suzy's need for answers is stronger than the other children's. She was lured with a lie about her dog. She was manipulated through her grief. Maybe that betrayal burns hotter than the others' deaths, makes her more desperate to find and punish the adults who hurt her. The window is a particularly unsettling element. When Chica appears there, you can see her face pressed against the glass, her beak almost touching the surface, her eyes staring directly at you. It's intimate in a horrible way. She's not just hunting you, she's watching you. She's studying you. She's trying to understand something about you. What does she see when she looks through that window? Does she see an endoskeleton that needs to be stuffed into a suit? Does she see an adult who might be her killer? Does she see anything at all? Or is she just following programming, going through motions that have no meaning? The games never tell us what the animatronics experience. We don't know if Suzy is aware during these moments, if she's conscious of what Chica's body is doing, if she understands that she's hunting innocent people. Maybe she's trapped in a fog of confusion, unable to think clearly, driven by instincts she can't control. Maybe she's fully aware and horrified by her own actions. Maybe she's somewhere in between, drifting in and out of consciousness, catching glimpses of what's happening without being able to stop it. Whatever the truth, Chica keeps watching. She keeps waiting. She keeps pressing her face against the glass, staring at you with eyes that might contain a murdered child's soul. Let that image fade now. The window is dark. Chica isn't there. You're in your own room, your own bed, your own safe space. No one is watching you through the glass. No one is waiting outside your door. You are alone, and that's okay. You are safe. The FNAF community has developed many theories about Chica over the years. Let's explore some of them, not to find definitive answers, but to appreciate the depth of thought that fans have put into understanding this character. One theory suggests that Suzy was the first of the 5 children to be killed during the missing children incident. This is based on dialogue in the games that seems to indicate she was lured away before the others, that William Afton targeted her specifically because of her vulnerability. If true, this would make Suzy's death the catalyst for the others, the first domino to fall in a chain of tragedy. Another theory proposes that Suzy's dog was killed by William Afton as well, as a way of creating the vulnerability he would later exploit. This is darker than the games explicitly show, but it fits William's character. He's a planner, a manipulator, someone who thinks ahead. Killing Suzy's dog to create grief, then exploiting that grief to lure her to her death, it's exactly the kind of cruel calculation William would engage in. Some fans theorise that the cupcake is possessed by Suzy's dog. This would explain why it seems aware, why it moves independently, why it has such a persistent presence in the franchise. The dog that Suzy loved. The dog that William used to lure her. The dog that she was trying to find when she died. Maybe it's been with her all along, transformed into a strange little companion that sits on a plate and watches with unblinking eyes. There's also a theory that Chica was the animatronic that committed the bite of 87. This is based on her aggressive behaviour in FNAF 2, her multiple rows of teeth visible in her withered form, and the fact that she's one of the animatronics most likely to reach the security guard. If Chica bit someone's frontal lobe, it would add another layer of tragedy to Suzy's story. Not just a victim, but an unwilling perpetrator of violence. Other theories focus on the differences between Chica versions. Why does Toy Chica remove her beak? Why is Nightmare Chica's cupcake a monster? Why is Glamrock Chica so obsessed with eating? Each of these details has spawned countless discussions, countless interpretations, countless attempts to find meaning in the design choices. The beauty of FNAF is that it supports all these theories. The games are deliberately ambiguous, leaving room for interpretation, encouraging fans to fill in the gaps with their own ideas. There's no single correct answer to most FNAF questions, just possibilities, theories, and the endless fun of trying to piece together a puzzle that may never be complete. Let these theories drift through your mind like clouds across a night sky. You don't need to solve them. You don't need to find the answers. They're just ideas, just possibilities, just the creative work of fans who love a franchise about haunted animatronics. Let them float past you as you drift towards sleep. Let's talk about the voice of Chica. Across the various games, Chica has been given different voices, different personalities, different ways of expressing herself. In the original games, Chica doesn't speak. None of the original animatronics do. They're silent hunters, communicating only through their movements and their jump scares. This silence is part of what makes them terrifying. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they want. You just know they're coming for you. In Ultimate Custom Night, Chica finally gets a voice. When she attacks you, she speaks, delivering lines that give us insight into her character. "I was the first. I have seen everything," she says in one line, supporting the theory that Suzy was the first victim. "I have seen him. The one you shouldn't have killed," she says, in another, referencing Golden Freddy and the larger mythology of the franchise. These voice lines are significant. They suggest that Suzy is aware, at least partially, of what's happening around her. She knows about the other victims, she knows about Golden Freddy. She's been watching, observing, piecing together the story even as she remains trapped in her animatronic prison. Toy Chica has a different voice in Ultimate Custom Night. Higher, more playful, almost flirtatious. "Where's my beak?" "Lodged in your forehead, of course," she says, referencing a strange habit of removing her beak at night. It's a darker personality than classic Chica, more aggressive, more aware of the violence she's capable of. Nightmare Chica doesn't speak in FNAF 4. She just breathes, that horrible mechanical breathing that signals her presence at the door. But in Ultimate Custom Night, she gets voice lines too. "Let's see how many pieces I can cut you into," she says, embracing the monstrous nature of her nightmare form. Glamrock Chica speaks throughout Security Breach, her voice glitched and distorted when she's hunting Gregory. "I'm going to find you," she says, her words broken up by static and corruption. You can't hide forever. There's something sad about her voice. She sounds almost desperate, driven by forces she can't control, hunting a child she might not even want to hurt. These voices give Chica personality, depth, humanity. They remind us that there's someone inside the animatronic, a little girl named Suzy, or an echo of her, or something that remembers what it was like to be her. The silent hunter of the original games has become a character with thoughts and feelings, and a voice to express them. Let the voices fade now. Chica is silent again, her words dissolving into the quiet of your room. There's no one speaking to you except me, and my voice is gentle, soothing, carrying you towards sleep. We should discuss the role Chica plays in the larger FNAF narrative. She's not the main character. That role belongs to the various protagonists and to William Afton, the villain whose crimes drive the entire franchise. But Chica is important nonetheless, a constant presence across the games, a reminder of the tragedy at the heart of the story. Chica represents the victims. While Freddy is the face of the franchise and golden, Freddy is the vessel of vengeance. Chica is simply a victim, a murdered child trapped in a mechanical body, suffering for decades because of one man's evil. She's not special in the way Golden Freddy is special. She's not the leader like Freddy. She's just one of the 5, one of the children, one of the souls that William Afton destroyed. This ordinariness is important. It reminds us that the missing children incident wasn't about special people or chosen ones. It was about regular kids at a birthday party. Gabriel, Jeremy, Suzy, Fritz, Cassidy. They were just children. They had families and friends and futures. They liked pizza and video games and birthday cake. They were normal, and that normalcy was stolen from them. Chica also represents the ongoing nature of the tragedy. New versions of her keep appearing. Toy Chica, Nightmare Chica, Funtime Chica, Rockstar Chica, Glamrock Chica. The franchise keeps building new animatronics, keeps opening new restaurants, keeps repeating the same patterns that led to the original murders. Chica is a reminder that the cycle continues, that the lessons of the past haven't been learned, that more tragedy is always possible. In Security Breach, this cycle seems to be breaking. Glamrock Freddy chooses to protect Gregory instead of hunting him. The animatronics are being controlled by an outside force, not possessed by murdered children. There's hope for the first time in the franchise that things might be different. But Glamrock Chica still hunts. She still succumbs to the corruption. She still has to be destroyed so that Gregory can survive. Even in a game about breaking cycles, Chica remains trapped in hers. The victim who becomes a threat, the innocent who becomes dangerous, the child who can't escape the violence that surrounds her. Maybe that's the final meaning of Chica. She's a reminder that some cycles are hard to break, that trauma echoes across generations, that the sins of the past have consequences that ripple forward through time. Suzy found her peace, but Chica keeps being rebuilt, keeps being corrupted, keeps hunting children through pizzerias and malls and nightmares. The cycle continues, but you're not part of it. You're outside the story, listening from a safe distance, drifting towards sleep. The cycle can't touch you here. Let's return to Suzy one more time. Let's think about who she was, not as a victim, not as a soul trapped in an animatronic, but as a person. She was a little girl who loved animals. We know this because of her dog, because of how easily William lured her with the promise of seeing her pet again. She probably had stuffed animals in her room, probably begged her parents for pets, probably stopped to look at every dog and cat she passed on the street. She was trusting. She believed the golden rabbit when he told her the dog was alive. She followed him without question, without suspicion, without the wariness that might have saved her life. This trust was a beautiful thing. The innocence of childhood, the belief that adults are safe and honest. William often exploited that beauty and destroyed it. She was grieving. Her dog had died, and she was sad about it. She was probably crying at the birthday party, probably not fully present, probably wishing she was home with her pet instead of at a restaurant with loud music and scary animatronics. William saw that grief and used it as a weapon. She was young, probably 6 or 7 years old, based on the size of the children shown in the mini-games. She had her whole life ahead of her, school and friends and growing up and falling in love and having children of her own someday. All of that was stolen from her in a back room at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. She was one of 5, not alone in her death, not alone in her suffering. She had Gabriel and Jeremy and Fritz and Cassidy, other children who shared her fate, who understood what she was going through. They were a family of tragedy, bound together by murder and possession, and eventually she was free. In the Happiest Day minigame, Suzy took off her Chica mask and moved on. She got the birthday party she was denied, the celebration that was stolen from her. She got to be a child again, one last time, before ascending to whatever comes next. Suzy's story is sad, but it has an ending. She suffered, but she found peace. She was trapped, but she was freed. In a franchise full of horror and tragedy, that's something to hold on to. That's something to carry with you as you drift towards sleep. The games are over now. The animatronics are still. Suzy has found her peace, and Chica is just an empty shell, a character in a video game, a collection of code and pixels that can't hurt anyone. You've travelled through the complete story of Chica, from Suzy's death to her possession, from classic Chica to Withered Chica to Toy Chica to Nightmare Chica to all the versions that came after. You've explored the cupcake and the hunger and the sounds in the kitchen. You've considered the theories and the meanings and the role Chica plays in the larger narrative. It's a lot to take in. But you don't need to hold all of it in your mind. Let it wash over you like water, like music, like the gentle sound of rain on a window. The details will fade, but the feeling will remain. The sense of a story told, a journey completed, a character understood. Chica is just a chicken in a video game. Suzy is just a fictional child, created by a game developer to tell a story about horror and tragedy and the persistence of the soul. None of it is real. None of it can touch you. You are safe. You are comfortable. You are warm in your bed, surrounded by the familiar darkness of your own room. No animatronics roam your halls. No cupcakes watch you with unblinking eyes. No golden rabbits lurk in your shadows, waiting to lure you away with lies. Just you and your breath and the gentle pull of sleep. The restaurant is closed. The party is over. The children have found their peace. And now it's time for you to find yours. Let your breathing become slow and deep. Let your muscles release their tension. Let your thoughts drift away like balloons released into the sky. The story of Chica will be here tomorrow if you want to revisit it. But tonight, there's nothing to do, nothing to fear, nothing to solve. Suzy is at rest. You can rest too. Just sleep. Sweet dreams. Good night. Thank you for listening. If this helped you drift off, please leave a like and subscribe for more sleep stories. Sweet dreams and good night. But wait. Before you drift off completely, let's explore a few more corners of Chica's story. There are details we haven't fully examined, connections we haven't fully made, depths we haven't fully plumbed. Let's talk about the design evolution of Chica across the franchise. How has she changed visually? And what do those changes tell us about her character and the franchise as a whole? The original Chica from FNAF 1 is relatively simple. She's a yellow chicken with an orange beak, wearing a bib that says "Let's eat." She has a round body, stubby wings that serve as arms, and a cupcake on a plate. Her design is friendly, approachable, the kind of character you'd expect to see at a children's restaurant. But there are unsettling elements even in this original design. Her eyes are a bit too wide, a bit too staring. Her beak is slightly open, revealing what might be teeth inside. Her body proportions are slightly off, not quite matching any real chicken or any cartoon chicken you've seen before. She exists in an uncanny valley between cute and creepy, and that's entirely intentional. Withered Chica takes the creepy elements and amplifies them. Her arms are broken, stuck in that permanent T-pose that makes her look like she's reaching for something. Her jaw hangs open, revealing multiple rows of teeth that definitely shouldn't be there. Her body is damaged, torn, revealing the metal skeleton beneath. She's gone from uncanny to horrifying, from slightly off to deeply wrong. Toy Chica goes in a different direction. She's sleeker, more stylized, more deliberately designed to be appealing. Her body is curvier, her eyes are larger, her overall appearance is more feminine. But then she removes her beak at night, and suddenly she's something else entirely. A smooth-faced predator with a too wide smile and eyes that seem to see right through you. Nightmare. Chica embraces the horror completely. She's a monster, pure and simple, claws instead of wings, rows of teeth in her beak. A cupcake that's become a creature with its own teeth and hunger. There's nothing friendly about Nightmare Chica, nothing approachable. She's fear incarnate, the worst version of what Chica could be. Funtime Chica returns to a more appealing design, with the white and pink colour scheme of the Funtime line. She's meant to be attractive, to draw customers, to be a premium entertainment option. But she exists in a world where animatronics are murder machines, so even her friendly design carries an undercurrent of menace. Rockstar Chica adds glamour, stars and sparkles and a more elaborate costume. She's a performer, a celebrity, something special. But she still hunts at night, still demands attention, still carries the legacy of violence that defines the franchise. And Glamrock Chica is the most radical redesign yet. White and pink and green. With a mohawk and a guitar and a punk rock aesthetic, she's cool, edgy, modern. But she's also constantly hungry, constantly eating, driven by an appetite that seems almost pathological. The friendly chicken has become something stranger, something that consumes without satisfaction. Each design tells a story. Each version of Chica reflects the era in which she was created, the tone the developers were going for, the evolution of the franchise from simple horror game to complex multimedia phenomenon. Chica has grown and changed alongside FNAF itself, becoming more elaborate, more detailed, more deeply embedded in the mythology. Let these images flow through your mind. Yellow chicken, broken chicken, sleek chicken, nightmare chicken, glamorous chicken. They're all Chica. They're all connected to Suzy. They're all part of the same long story that we've been exploring tonight. Let's consider the relationship between Chica and the other original animatronics. How does she fit into the group? What role does she play in the dynamic between Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, and herself? Freddy is the leader. He's the face of the franchise, the one whose name is on the building, the one who stands at the centre of the stage. In the games, he's often the most dangerous animatronic, the one who waits until the others have softened you up before moving in for the kill. Gabriel, the soul inside Freddy, seems to have taken on a leadership role among the murdered children. Bonnie is the aggressive one. He's usually the first to move at night, the most active hunter, the one who appears at your door most frequently. Jeremy, the soul inside Bonnie, seems driven by a restless energy, an inability to stay still, a need to keep searching even when there's nothing to find. Foxy is the loner. He stays in Pirate Cove separate from the others, only emerging to sprint down the hallway when his aggression builds too high. Fritz, the soul inside Foxy, seems isolated, set apart, watching from the shadows rather than participating in the group. And Chica? Chica is the persistent one. She doesn't lead like Freddy or rush like Bonnie or hide like Foxy. She just keeps coming, keeps watching, keeps pressing her face against the window and waiting for her moment. Suzy, the soul inside Chica, seems patient, determined, unwilling to give up even when the odds are against her. Together they form a strange family. 4 murdered children, bound together by tragedy, spending their nights hunting for a killer they can't identify. They don't communicate as far as we know. They don't coordinate their attacks, but they're connected nonetheless, sharing the same fate, the same prison, the same desperate hope for justice. In the Happiest Day minigame, we see them together one last time. The children gather for a birthday party, wearing masks of the animatronics they possessed. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy, the 5th child, the one whose rage burned hottest. They're together, finally at peace, finally able to celebrate the childhood that was stolen from them. Suzy takes off her Chica mask alongside the others. She's not alone in her freedom, just as she wasn't alone in her imprisonment. The family of tragedy becomes a family of peace, moving on together to whatever comes next. Your body's so heavy now, so relaxed, so ready for sleep. The animatronics are at rest. The children are at peace. There's nothing left to fear, nothing left to hunt, nothing left to do but drift away. Let's explore one more aspect of Chica's story, her presence in the FNAF novels and other supplementary materials. The FNAF novel trilogy, The Silver Eyes, The Twisted Ones, and The Fourth Closet, tells a different version of the FNAF story. It's not exactly canon to the games, but it's not entirely separate either. Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, has described the novels as existing in a parallel universe, sharing elements with the games, but not being a direct adaptation. In the novels, Chica appears as one of the original animatronics at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. She's described in similar terms to her game counterpart, a yellow chicken with a bib, carrying a cupcake, performing on stage with Freddy and Bonnie. The novels give us more detail about what it's like to encounter the animatronics up close, to see them move, to feel the wrongness that emanates from their possessed bodies. The novels also explore the nature of possession more deeply than the games do. We learn about Remnant, a substance that contains human souls that can be extracted and transferred, that William Afton has been experimenting with for years. The animatronics aren't just haunted, they're infused with Remnant, with fragments of the children's souls that have been melted down and injected into the machines. This adds another layer of horror to Chica's story, Suzy isn't just trapped in an animatronic. She's been processed, transformed, turned into something that can be measured and manipulated. Her soul has become a resource, a tool, a thing that William Afton can use for his own purposes. The Fazbear Fright series, a collection of short stories set in the FNAF universe, also features Chica in various forms. These stories explore different aspects of the franchise's horror, often focusing on ordinary people who encounter the supernatural elements of the FNAF world. Chica appears as a threat, a mystery, a reminder that the animatronics are never truly safe. These supplementary materials expand Chica's story beyond what the games show us. They give us new perspectives, new details, new ways of understanding the character and her place in the larger mythology. They're not essential to understanding Chica, but they add depth and richness to her story. Let these additional details settle into your mind, then let them fade. The novels and the short stories are just more words, more stories, more ways of exploring a fictional universe. They can't hurt you. They can't reach you. You're safe here, drifting towards sleep. Let's think about what Chica represents in the broader context of horror fiction. She's part of a long tradition of creepy dolls and animatronics, of things that look friendly but hide something sinister. The Uncanny Valley is a concept in robotics and animation that describes the discomfort people feel when they encounter something that looks almost human, but not quite. Dolls, mannequins, animatronics. These things trigger our Uncanny Valley response because they're close enough to human to be recognizable, but different enough to be unsettling. Chica lives in the Uncanny Valley. She's designed to be friendly, to appeal to children, to be a comforting presence at birthday parties. But there's something wrong about her. Her eyes are too wide, her movements are too mechanical, her smile is too fixed. She's almost right, but not quite, and that almost rightness is what makes her scary. This is a common trope in horror fiction. Dolls that come alive, mannequins that move when you're not looking, animatronics that hunt you through abandoned restaurants. The fear of the almost human, the not quite right, the thing that wears a friendly face but hides something terrible underneath. Chica also represents the corruption of childhood spaces. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is supposed to be a place of joy, a place where children celebrate birthdays and eat pizza and watch animatronic shows. But it's become a place of horror, a place where children were murdered, a place where their souls remain trapped in mechanical bodies. This corruption is deeply unsettling because it violates our expectations. We expect children's spaces to be safe. We expect birthday parties to be happy. We expect animatronic chickens to be friendly. When those expectations are violated, when the safe becomes dangerous and the happy becomes horrifying, it creates a particular kind of fear that's hard to shake. Chica embodies this corruption. She's a children's entertainer who kills. She's a birthday party mascot who hunts. She's everything that should be safe and friendly, twisted into something dangerous and wrong. That's why she's scary. That's why she works as a horror character. That's why she's been part of the FNAF franchise for so many years. But she's just a character. She's just a concept, a design, a collection of ideas about what makes things scary. She can't actually hurt you. The corruption she represents is fictional, contained within the boundaries of a video game. You're safe here, in your own space, where birthday parties are happy and animatronics don't come alive at night. Let's return one final time to the question of what happens after. What comes next for Suzy? after the happiest day, after she takes off her mask and moves on. The games don't tell us. The FNAF universe has a lot to say about death and possession and the persistence of the soul, but it's largely silent on what happens when the souls finally find peace. Do they go to heaven? Do they simply cease to exist? Do they reincarnate, starting new lives with no memory of the old ones? We can imagine, though. We can picture Suzy finally free, finally at rest, finally able to be a child again without the weight of murder and possession dragging her down. Maybe she's reunited with her dog, the real dog, not the lie William Afton told her. Maybe she gets to have the birthday party she was denied, with cake and presents and friends who love her. Maybe she simply sleeps, peacefully and forever, no longer haunted by nightmares of golden rabbits and mechanical prisons. Whatever comes next, it's better than what came before. Decades of confusion and rage, of hunting and being hunted, of existing in a body that wasn't hers. All of that is over now. Suzy is free. Suzy is at peace. Suzy has moved on to whatever comes next, and whatever that is, it has to be better than being trapped inside Chica. This is the hope at the heart of the FNAF franchise. Beneath all the horror, beneath all the tragedy, there's the promise that suffering ends. The children find peace. The souls move on. The cycle of violence eventually breaks, and something better takes its place. Suzy found that peace, and you can find peace too, not the peace of death, but the peace of sleep, the peace of letting go, of releasing the tension in your body, of allowing your mind to drift away from the worries and fears of the waking world. The story is over. Chica's tale has been told. There's nothing left to do but rest. We've covered so much ground tonight. We've explored Suzy's death and her possession of Chica. We've examined every version of Chica across the FNAF franchise. Classic, Withered, Toy, Nightmare, Funtime, Rockstar, Glamrock. We've discussed the cupcake and its mysterious nature. We've considered the sounds Chica makes, the role she plays in the larger narrative, the theories fans have developed about her character. We've thought about what Chica means as a symbol of hunger, of femininity, of being overlooked. We've explored her relationships with the other animatronics, her presence in the novels and supplementary materials, her place in the broader tradition of horror fiction. And we've returned again and again to Suzy, the little girl who loved her dog, the child who trusted too easily, the victim who became a hunter, the soul who eventually found peace. Chica is Suzy's story, ultimately. All the different versions, all the different designs, all the different games, they're all connected to that one little girl who followed a golden rabbit to her death. She's the heart of the character, the tragedy that gives Chica meaning, the human element in a franchise full of mechanical horrors. Suzy deserved better. She deserved to grow up, to have a life, to become whoever she was meant to be. Instead, she got decades of imprisonment, confusion and violence. But she also got peace in the end. She got to take off her mask and move on. She got the ending she deserved, even if it came far too late. And now you get your ending too. Not an ending to your life, but an ending to this night, to this story, to this gentle journey towards sleep. You've listened to the complete story of Chica, and now it's time to rest. The restaurant is closed, the animatronics are still, the children have found their peace. Close your eyes, let your breathing slow. Let your body sink into the mattress, heavy and relaxed and ready for sleep. Suzy is at rest. You can rest too. The cupcake's eyes are closed. The kitchen is silent. The hallways are empty. There's nothing left to fear. There's nothing left to do. There's only sleep waiting for you, ready to carry you away to dreams. Sweet dreams. Good night. And thank you for listening to the complete story of Chica. But before sleep takes you completely, let's linger a little longer in the world of Chica. There are still corners to explore, still details to savour, still moments to appreciate in this long and winding story. Let's think about the birthday party, the one where Suzy died. What was it like? In those final moments before everything went wrong, the restaurant would have been loud. Children's birthday parties at places like Freddy Fazbear's Pizza are always loud. The music from the animatronics show, the chatter of excited kids, the clanking of arcade games, the general chaos of too many children in too small a space. Suzy would have been surrounded by noise, by movement, by the overwhelming sensory experience of a children's entertainment venue. The animatronics would have been performing. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy, or at least the versions of them that existed at that time, would have been on stage, singing their songs, going through their routines. Children would have been watching, clapping along, maybe dancing in front of the stage. It was supposed to be a celebration. Suzy might have been watching too at first, but she was sad. Her dog had just died, and she was grieving. And a birthday party probably felt hollow when she was carrying that weight of loss. She might have been sitting apart from the other children, not fully participating, lost in her own thoughts about the pet she would never see again. And then the golden rabbit appeared. We don't know exactly how William Afton approached her. Did he single her out because she looked sad? Because she seemed vulnerable? Did he watch her for a while before making his move, studying her, planning his approach? Or did he simply see an opportunity? A child alone, separated from the group, easy to lure away. Whatever his method, it worked. He told her about the dog. He told her the dog was still alive, that he could take her to see it. And Suzy, desperate to believe, desperate to have her pet back, followed him. She followed him away from the party, away from the noise and the lights and the other children. She followed him to a back room, a quiet place, a place where no one would see what happened next. She followed him because she trusted him, because he was wearing a costume from the restaurant, because he told her what she wanted to hear, and then she died. We don't know the details. We don't need to know the details. What matters is that Suzy's life ended in that back room, ended because she loved her dog and trusted a stranger and wanted to believe that death wasn't permanent. The birthday party continued without her, at least for a while. The other children kept playing, kept eating pizza, kept watching the animatronics. Maybe someone noticed Suzy was gone. Maybe they assumed she had gone to the bathroom, or found her parents, or simply wandered off. Children wander at parties. It's not unusual. But Suzy wasn't coming back. Suzy was in the back room, and then Suzy was inside Chica, and then Suzy was trapped in a nightmare that would last for decades. The party ended eventually. The children went home. The restaurant closed for the night, and somewhere in the building inside a yellow chicken animatronic, a little girl's soul was waking up to a new and terrible existence. Let that image fade now. The party is over. The restaurant is closed. Suzy's suffering has ended, even if it took far too long. You're here, in your own bed, safe from birthday parties that turn into tragedies. Let's consider the parents. Suzy's parents, and the parents of the other missing children. What happened to them after their children disappeared? The games don't tell us much about the families of the victims. We know the children existed. We know they died. We know their souls were trapped in animatronics. But the people who loved them, the parents who raised them, the families who were destroyed by their disappearance, they're largely absent from the narrative. We can imagine, though. We can picture the panic when Suzy didn't come home from the birthday party. The frantic phone calls, the searches, the growing horror as hours turned into days and days turned into weeks. We can picture the police investigations, the interviews, the desperate hope that maybe, somehow, Suzy was still alive somewhere. We can picture the grief when that hope finally died, when the case went cold, when the leads dried up, when it became clear that Suzy was never coming home. We can picture the empty bedroom, the untouched toys, the photographs that became too painful to look at. The parents of the missing children lived with that grief for the rest of their lives. They never got closure, never got answers, never got to bury their children properly. They just had absence, a hole in their lives where their child used to be, a wound that never fully healed, and they never knew the truth. They never knew that their children's bodies were stuffed inside animatronic suits, that their souls were trapped in mechanical prisons, that their kids spent decades hunting night guards in abandoned restaurants. They never knew about the puppet, or the possession, or the eventual peace their children found. Maybe that's a mercy. Maybe it's better not to know that your child's soul was trapped in a chicken animatronic for 30 years. Maybe the uncertainty, as painful as it is preferable to that particular horror. Or maybe not. Maybe the parents would have wanted to know, would have wanted to understand, would have wanted to be there when their children finally found peace. Maybe they deserved to see the happiest day, to watch their kids take off their masks and move on. We'll never know. The games don't tell us what happened to the families. They're focused on the children, on the animatronics, on the horror. The human cost beyond the immediate victims is left to our imagination. Let your heart ache for those parents, then let the ache fade. Their grief is fictional, part of a story designed to unsettle and disturb. You are safe here, in your own bed, surrounded by people who love you and know where you are. Let's think about the employees of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the people who worked there, who interacted with the animatronics every day, who might have suspected that something was wrong. Phone Guy is the most famous employee in the FNAF franchise. His recorded messages guide you through the first few games, explaining the rules, warning you about the animatronics, trying to help you survive. He's cheerful, almost oblivious, treating the haunted animatronics as a minor inconvenience rather than a mortal threat. But Phone Guy knew something was wrong. He mentions the smell coming from the animatronics. He talks about the incident that led to the restaurant's troubles. He warns you about the animatronics' behaviour at night, even if he doesn't fully understand why they act the way they do. Phone Guy died eventually, killed by the animatronics he had spent so long trying to manage. We hear it happen in one of his recordings, the sounds of multiple animatronics converging on him, the Toreador March playing, and then silence. He became another victim of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, another life claimed by the tragedy that William Afton set in motion. Other employees must have noticed things too. The smell, the strange behaviour, the way the animatronics seem to watch you, to follow you with their eyes, to move when they shouldn't be moving. Some of them probably quit, unable to shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. Others probably stayed, needing the paycheck, convincing themselves that it was all in their imagination. The night guards are the employees we know best because we play as them. Mike Schmidt, Jeremy Fitzgerald, Fritz Smith. These are the people who took the worst job in the building, who sat alone in the dark while haunted animatronics hunted them. Most of them survived, at least in the games. But they must have been traumatized, must have carried the experience with them for the rest of their lives. What do you do after you've spent 5 nights being hunted by possessed animatronics? How do you go back to normal life, to normal jobs, to a world where birthday parties are safe and robots don't try to kill you? The games don't explore this, but it's worth thinking about. The trauma of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza extends beyond the murdered children, touching everyone who came into contact with that cursed place. Let these thoughts drift away. The employees are fictional, their trauma contained within the boundaries of a video game. You're not a night guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You're safe in your own bed, with no animatronics to watch, no doors to close, no power to conserve. Let's appreciate the artistry of the FNAF franchise one more time, the way it builds horror through implication rather than explicit violence, the way it uses sound and darkness and the unknown to create fear, the way it takes something innocent, a children's pizza restaurant, and transforms it into something terrifying. Chica is part of that artistry. She's designed to be unsettling, to trigger our uncanny valley response, to make us feel that something is wrong, even when we can't articulate what. Her wide eyes, her fixed smile, her persistent presence at the window, all of these elements work together to create a character that's genuinely scary. But she's also designed to be sympathetic. Suzy's story gives Chica depth, makes her more than just a monster. We understand why she hunts, even if we fear her. We feel sorry for her, even as we're trying to survive her attacks. She's a victim and a threat simultaneously, and that complexity is part of what makes FNAF so compelling. Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, built something remarkable with this franchise. What started as a simple horror game about surviving animatronics has become a sprawling mythology with dozens of characters, multiple timelines, and mysteries that fans are still trying to solve years later. Chica is just one small part of that mythology, but she's an essential part, one of the original 4, one of the murdered children, one of the souls that eventually found peace. The franchise continues to grow. New games are released, new characters are introduced, new mysteries are added to the pile. But Chica remains, in one form or another, a constant presence across the series. She's evolved from a simple yellow chicken to a complex character with a tragic backstory and multiple incarnations. She's grown alongside the franchise, becoming more detailed, more nuanced, more deeply embedded in the mythology. And she's helped millions of people experience fear in a safe way. That's what horror fiction does. It lets us confront our fears in a controlled environment to experience terror without actual danger. Chica has scared countless players, has appeared in countless nightmares, has become a cultural icon of gaming horror. And through it all, she's remained what she always was, a yellow chicken with a cupcake, hiding a murdered child's soul. Let your appreciation for this artistry settle into your mind, then let it fade. The games are just games. The horror is just fiction. You're safe here, appreciating the craft from a comfortable distance, drifting towards sleep. The night is quiet now. The story has been told. Chica's complete history, from Suzy's death to her eventual peace, has been laid out before you like a path through the darkness. You've walked that path tonight. You've explored every corner of Chica's story, every version of her character, every detail that makes her who she is. You've thought about hunger and persistence, about cupcakes and kitchens, about a little girl who loved her dog and trusted the wrong person. And now the path has ended. You've arrived at the destination, not a place, but a state of relaxation, of peace, of readiness for sleep. The animatronics are still, the restaurant is closed, the children have found their rest. Suzy is free. She took off her Chica mask and moved on to whatever comes next. Her suffering is over, her story has ended, and your story continues, but not tonight. Tonight you rest, tonight you sleep. Tonight you let go of the waking world as drift into dreams. The cupcake's eyes are closed, the kitchen is silent, the hallways are empty. There's nothing watching you, nothing hunting you, nothing waiting in the darkness. Just peace, just quiet, just the gentle pull of sleep. Let your breathing become slow and deep. Let your muscles release their final tension. Let your thoughts dissolve like morning mist, fading away until there's nothing left but rest. Suzy found her peace. You found yours too. Sweet dreams. Good night. And thank you one final time for listening to the complete story of Chica the Chicken.